Most men never realize this. They walk the same road as everyone else, following the signs society puts before them, never questioning if it's leading anywhere worth going. But the warrior who understands Musashi's words sees the truth. There is no single way to victory, no single way to live. And when you dare to walk your own path, alone, self-reliant, untouchable, you become the most dangerous kind of man.
Picture a man who wields both a sword and a philosophy book with equal mastery. His enemies are not only those who cross his blade, but also the illusions that seek to chain his mind. This is the fusion of warrior and philosopher, a path where solitude is not loneliness, but the forge where strength is tempered. Nietzsche called for the creation of one's own values, while Musashi taught the art of walking alone, perfecting skill without reliance on others. Together, their teachings point to a single truth: power is born in the silence of self-mastery. This path rejects the comforts of the crowd. It asks you to endure the weight of your own thoughts, to train your body and mind until neither weakness nor fear can find a foothold. Dangerous solitude is not an escape. It is a chosen battlefield where every day you sharpen both the sword and the soul. A man who needs nothing from others cannot be bribed, shamed, or easily led. He moves according to his own compass, and that makes him unpredictable, something society fears deeply. Nietzsche warned that the herd despises those who refuse to think like them. Musashi, in his Dokudo, The Path of Aloneness, wrote that one should never depend on the compassion of others. Both understood that independence is a threat to systems built on control. Standing alone strips away the invisible strings society uses to manipulate you: status, approval, fear of rejection. Without those strings, you are free. And freedom, to those who rely on your compliance, is dangerous. The loner does not revolt through chaos, but through calm. His mere existence questions the very structure of the world around him.
Centuries apart, in different worlds, both men reached the same conclusion: the individual must become their own fortress. Nietzsche's built it on philosophy, dismantling the false moralities of the herd. Musashi's built it on discipline, forging his spirit through combat and hardship. Self-reliance is not simply being able to survive alone. It is being able to thrive alone. It is creating a world within yourself so rich that no external force can impoverish you. Nietzsche's Übermensch and Musashi's undefeated duels are symbols of this mastery, the transformation of the self into something unshakable. To walk their path is to refuse the life handed to you, and instead craft one of your own making.
Most people inherit their beliefs the way they inherit a family name, without question. Nietzsche warned that this unexamined morality is a cage disguised as virtue. To create your own values, you must first dismantle the ones you never chose. This is no easy task. It requires ruthless honesty, the courage to stand apart, and the willingness to bear the weight of freedom. Musashi's way was no different. He followed no master blindly, shaped no technique exactly as he was taught. He adapted, refined, and discarded until what remained was entirely his own. The man who creates his own values cannot be swayed by the shifting winds of opinion. He stands on ground that no one else can take from him. Independence is not born from comfort. It is carved from discipline. Musashi's life was a testament to relentless training, waking with the sun, refining his technique, and embracing hardship as a teacher. Nietzsche's discipline was of the mind, long walks in solitude, deep reflection, and the daily work of thinking against the grain. Both men understood that to walk your own path, you must strengthen yourself to withstand the storms. This discipline is not just about skill, it's about the will to keep going when no one is watching, when no applause follows, when the road stretches endlessly ahead. To walk alone is to commit to a lifelong duel with your own weakness, with your own doubt, and to win.
Musashi wrote, "Do nothing which is of no use." Nietzsche warned against being chained by the opinions of the herd. Together, they point to a truth. Detachment is not weakness. It is the sharpest blade. When you are free from the need for approval, possessions, or comfort, no one can hold leverage over you. The threats and promises that control others lose their grip on you entirely. Detachment allows you to see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. This clarity makes your decisions precise, your actions purposeful. A warrior who fights without attachment to the outcome and a thinker who writes without seeking applause are unstoppable forces. The world teaches strength as something others give you, a medal, a title, applause. Nietzsche and Musashi saw it differently. True strength is forged in the absence of praise. When you learn to stand firm without the warm blanket of validation, you discover a kind of power that can't be taken away. You no longer fight for recognition. You fight because it is your nature. This self-sufficiency unsettles those who depend on control. They cannot lure you with rewards or frighten you with exile. In a society built on likes, votes, and approval ratings, the man who stands without them is a ghost, untouchable.
An unshakable man is not one who feels no fear or doubt. He is one who does not yield to them. Nietzsche battled illness and isolation. Musashi faced death in duel after duel. Both stood firm when it would have been easier to bend. Unshakability comes from meeting adversity so many times that it loses its power to control you. You stop asking for an easy road and start sharpening yourself against the hard one. The world can rage, criticize, and misunderstand you, but the foundation you've built within yourself will not move. Such a man is dangerous because he cannot be broken, only tempered. Self-sufficiency removes the hooks that society uses to pull you. You don't need its money, its praise, or its permission to act. Nietzsche called for the free spirit who lives by inner law. Musashi embodied it by training himself to survive in any condition with nothing but his sword and his will. Without needs, you are unpredictable. Without dependence, you are beyond manipulation. This makes you a threat to any structure built on obedience. The self-sufficient man doesn't rebel with slogans. He rebels by not needing what they sell.
Musashi's sword was never idle. It was honed daily. Nietzsche treated his mind the same way, walking miles each day to think, write, and sharpen his philosophy. Training the mind is no less vital than training the body. It means questioning assumptions,
learning without limit, and refusing to let comfort dull your edge. A sharp mind cuts through lies, illusions, and manipulation faster than any blade through armor. It protects you from the subtle enemies, the ones who try to enter through your thoughts. The warrior philosopher trains both sword and mind, knowing that in the end, the deadliest weapon is clarity. Nietzsche spoke of gazing into the abyss and not looking away. Musashi walked into duels where death was certain if he faltered. Both understood that fear is not something to avoid, it is something to confront. Facing the void means standing before the unknown without flinching. It is resisting the urge to escape into distractions or false certainties. When you have stared into your own darkness and accepted what you found there, you become harder to shake. The threats that send others running will not move you. The void becomes a mirror, and you learn to stand comfortably in its reflection.
Most people live by moral rules they never chose. Nietzsche warned that this slave morality keeps individuals weak, obedient, and dependent. Musashi, too, refused to follow the conventional codes of other swordsmen. He broke traditions, fought with unorthodox weapons, and lived by his own principles. Rejecting the herd's morality is not about chaos. It's about building a code rooted in reason and personal conviction. When you live by your own moral compass, you stop asking for permission to do what you know is right. Musashi approached life as a series of battles, each requiring strategy, patience, and adaptability. Nietzsche approached philosophy the same way, preparing arguments like a general preparing for war. Strategy is knowing when to act, when to wait, and when to walk away. It's about the long game, not chasing quick wins. The lone warrior sees the battlefield for what it is, not what others say it is. This clarity allows him to move where others are blind. He doesn't need a crowd behind him. His strength is multiplied, not diluted, by solitude.
Comfort numbs the will. Nietzsche warned that an easy life softens the spirit, making it incapable of great acts. Musashi deliberately chose hardship, living with little, training relentlessly, and seeking challenges. When you avoid discomfort, you avoid growth. You choose stagnation over strength. The dangerous man invites challenges, knowing each trial is another whetstone for the blade of his character. Comfort may feel safe, but it is a slow poison. Hardship, when faced willingly, is the cure. Musashi's greatest victories were born from long stretches of isolation, where he could refine his technique without distraction. Nietzsche's most profound works came from solitary reflection in the mountains. Isolation allows for total immersion. Without the noise of others' opinions, your craft and your thoughts can reach depths impossible in the crowd. Mastery demands this kind of solitude. It is the crucible where skill, insight, and conviction are forged. In the end, isolation is not withdrawal from the world. It is preparation to face it at your highest level.
Most people wait for approval. Approval to start a project, to speak their mind, to change their life. Nietzsche and Musashi would call this a prison without bars. When you stop asking for permission, you take ownership of your life. You no longer wait for the world to tell you now is the right time. You make the time. This doesn't mean acting recklessly. It means acting with conviction, even if others disapprove. A man who moves without seeking consent from the crowd is a man who cannot be stopped by it. Dependency breeds vulnerability. When your happiness rests on the presence or approval of others, you are easily swayed, bought, or broken. Musashi lived self-sufficiently, carrying only what he needed, relying on no master. Nietzsche's philosophy echoed this. Become whole within yourself before you seek anything from outside. Freedom comes when you can say, I choose to share my life with others, but I do not need them to live it. Needing no one is not coldness. It's the foundation that makes every relationship more genuine. Solitude can break a man who fears it, but it can forge a man who embraces it. Nietzsche used solitude to sharpen his ideas. Musashi used it to perfect his sword. In solitude, distractions fall away, and the work that truly matters rises to the surface. You learn to listen to yourself, to face your own mind without flinching. This is where transformation happens, when you stop running from silence and start using it as a training ground. The man who masters solitude walks into the world already armed. A dangerous loner lives by a code no one else can see, principles shaped by battle, reflection, and choice. This code isn't written in laws or traditions. It's carved into the mind through experience. It decides when to fight, when to walk away, and when to stand immovable. Nietzsche and Musashi both knew that without a personal code, you are at the mercy of someone else's. Your code is your shield, your sword, and your compass. Follow it, and you will never be truly lost.
To stand alone is not to be isolated. It is to be rooted in yourself so deeply that no storm can uproot you. Nietzsche's free spirit and Musashi's lone warrior meet here. A life lived on your own terms, without bending to the herd or the master. Staying dangerous means staying untamed by comfort, unbroken by fear, and unbound by others' expectations. The world respects the man who does not beg for it. Stand alone, stay dangerous.